What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. When it rains, it pours. The other day, we got a call that our Mazda 5 had a blowout. So starting off, this lower bumper cover looks like it was impacted with a curb, which then leads us to this bumper being disattached and broken now. Now this car is on a spare tire because the wheel actually broke off and then it folded in this fender because the vehicle essentially ran over part of its own wheel. The rotor also ran around in the wheel and it caused some severe damage that can only be described as bolts in a blender whenever you're driving. The fender is severely caved in right here. The side skirt is missing. This door has a little trouble opening. More severe fender damage right here. This wheel has a bunch of curb rash and a missing chunk out of it, and somehow is still holding air. Oh yeah, it's impressive. It's a nice bead. Great bead. More fender damage and more bumper damage right here as well. Let's take a look at the wheel in question. Now the guest had said that he had a blowout, but this tire is actually still holding a little bit of air, despite it being completely broken on the wheel side. We can see on the inside when the actual wheel broke off, it was just rolling around on the rotor and then it must have been chunked out and then ran over. Now the rim of the wheel is actually in pretty good shape. A few bits of curb rash here and there, but this is the major impact that we believe actually started this whole ordeal. Maybe the guest fell asleep, maybe he just wasn't paying attention and was going a little too fast around the corner. We'll never know. He said it was a blowout, clearly it was not.
How'd she drive?
Terrible. Surprised she drives. Now Turo initially believed that there wasn't actual damage to this vehicle because the only photo we had to go off of was one of just the broken wheel. None of this extra stuff right here. And then they eventually came to their senses and said, oh yeah, there's a lot more wrong with this car. And they're coming tomorrow to pick it up to take it to IAA, which is their total loss arm. Now the curse of the new improvements is anytime we try to improve our vehicle either mechanically or aesthetically, the vehicle ultimately ends up getting totaled or in a wreck, which pretty much negates the improvement. Exhibit A, in our shed, we bought a bunch of brand new seats for that Mazda 5, literally days before that car got into an accident. We drove all this way to come to this salvage yard all the way out in Nevada. They have a Mazda 5 here with black manual leather seats. The only difference between ours and these is that they're manual and leather, which is a huge bit of difference whenever you consider we no longer have to scrub and clean out stains. So let's go take a look at it. That looks good, and then we'll clean them up. Okay, yeah, we'll take them. You're just gonna cut the connectors?
Yeah. This is all.
Now, while it was definitely a bummer that the curse of fleet improvements has striked again, the good news here is that just a couple of days after this car was in an accident, we found a better vehicle that we could use to replace it.
So the Mazda 5 we're gonna go look at is a 2013 Mazda 5 Sport. It has about 106,000 miles on it, so not terrible on the mileage, and guess what? It's the same exact color as our old one, Mazda Red. On black wheels. Oh, they are aftermarket wheels. Interesting.
The next day.
Now you might be thinking, why am I in our broken down Mazda 5? Well, I'm not, because that car got totaled and it just got picked up this morning. We bought this identical, newer Mazda 5 last night. Ah! Let's give you the tour. Now before we go for the full tour, let's just give you the interior tour. This is the same exact light tan seats, but they do have a different design because this is a 2013 and it got a minor refresh. So these seats do look a little bit different, but it's just the cushioning and the design of the seat. The actual bases should just bolt right in with the new leather seats that we intended to put in our 2010 Mazda 5. Now, even though these seats are in immaculate condition, no rips, no tears, very little staining, these will get very dirty very fast. So let's go ahead and replace it with the new leather seats that we bought. Now I know what you're saying, these seats look fine, there's no issues, and there isn't. These are in really good condition. Every single seat looks really good, and they've actually been cleaned very thoroughly beforehand. Now it's only a matter of time before the renters come in here and they start staining these seats dirty in a matter of a few trips. Even though these seats were in a car, they were in a junkyard, and some of the windows and doors were kind of open, so they are a little bit dirty. Todd's gonna clean them while I start reverse engineering how to get these seats out and swap them in. Let's go. Put your seatbelt on.
This one? Gee, your arm. You hit your head, but it's okay because I'm, you know, like a staggering 6'6.5", so.
Do that, please. That looks like. So this leather cleaner is like working a miracle. This seat looks so nice. Look at the back seats. The back seats look so shiny and smooth. And then compared to this one, with no leather cleaner, a little more dull, not as good looking. And even compared to these front ones right here, these are not done yet. So a little before. After. Ooh, look at that seat. Sit in a seat like this, it's nice and slick. Go, whoop. Ow, my back. Interior all cleaned up, seats nice and prepped, Todd equipped. Now we go take it for an exterior wash. Now that Todd got it all cleaned up, let's give you the final tour. I'm gonna start with the exterior. This car is actually in really good shape, especially for being a 2013. The cool part about this one versus our other 2010 is that this is the facelifted model. I believe they started that in 2012 and up. So these have these really cool body lines that flow on the back. I think this was Mazda's Skyactiv propaganda to promote Skyactiv, and if you look at other logos, they're all wispy. The back end got an updated taillight design, no more LED taillights, and thankfully, because the LED taillights, when they break, they are really expensive to get replaced. Just regular good old bulbs in the back. And down here we got the updated design. Now this is a sport trim, so unfortunately this does not have the fog lights, but it does have the updated front bumper. But this one does have premium painted mirror covers and LED turn signals. Fancy. Nice premium leather. This is actually only an option in the Grand Touring, so it goes Sport, Touring, Grand Touring. We're down here. Both these seats might as well be up here, baby. Updated front console. This one has black interior, black carpet, black plastics instead of the tan like our older Mazda 5, so a huge upgrade. The radio, even in 2013, still doesn't have Bluetooth, but it does have a single disc radio player. We will be replacing this radio with one with Bluetooth like we had in our Mazda 5. And lastly, no sunroof, but that's actually kind of a blessing because sunroofs do go bad, they do leak from time to time, and sometimes people just leave them open and then it rains outside, which means the interior gets rained on. So less is more. Now aside from these premium seats that we just put in, everything else is in really good condition. All of the plastics, all of the vents, everything works, and I'm just thankful for that. This car is a very clean car. Todd was thankful for that too. We didn't really have to clean all that much. Last, we gotta talk about these whirls right here. These are aftermarket wheels. They are liquid metal, dude. Yeah, shred it. And unfortunately, as much as I love these wheels, they are gonna get destroyed. Already has a little bit of curb rash right here and on a few of the other rims, but knowing our drivers, they are gonna be curbing these things badly. So might have to invest in a little bit of graphite colored paint so I can just touch them up occasionally. Now, to recap, this is a 2013 Mazda 5 Sport, and we only paid $5,600. It was originally $5,700, but when I stepped in, negotiations were made. Now, we don't have the figures for how much we're getting paid for the total loss of our other Mazda 5, so let's fast forward to when we get those figures.
1 hour later.
So now let's try to go over the figures of our Mazda 5s. First off, our old 2010 Mazda 5, we purchased this vehicle a little over 2 years ago for $5,000. And our total loss payout is, drumroll, $6,374.19. Pow! And do that, and then that. Then you gotta cross root that times a squared plus b
It's just subtraction.
equals c.
Let me work.
Math. One. What comes after 2? Okay.
3.
$374.19. Wow! So just off the purchase price alone and our total loss payout, even though we had the vehicle for 2 years and we put on approximately 50,000 miles in those 2 years, we still made $1,374.19. Depreciation who? Now, as far as our new 13 Mazda 5 goes, we purchased this vehicle for a sales price of $5,700. So we bought this car for a little more money with the payout we received after 2 years. This is why we absolutely preach buying vehicles at below market value prices. That way, in the event of a total loss, we end up with a net profit. And that's not including all of the earnings that we made while the vehicle was listed on Turo. We're really fortunate to be able to find our new 13 Mazda 5 literally the same day that we found out that vehicle was gonna get totaled, and we purchased it the next day when they came to retrieve our old 2010 Mazda 5. And as always, guys, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you in the next episode. But don't forget to follow for more. Ready?
Oh my gosh.